role in the anomalous and ghost flood control projects in the 1st Engineering District of the province of Bulacan, where he served as Assistant District Engineer and later as OIC District Engineer until he was recently sacked. Mr. President, at the Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, all this person did was to play innocent, feign ignorance, and to try to convince us that he was simply following orders and instructions from his boss. From receiving $1 billion of cash, talking to pseudo-contractors, signing falsified documents, all the way to gambling away millions and millions of money stolen from the public coffers at casinos, he claimed that in all of these, he was just following orders. Indeed, when confronted and cornered with a barrage of questions from this representation and our other colleagues about his fantastic and shady lifestyle and dealings, he fed the committee lies and stories that taxed our credulity to the hilt and left us and the public in awful disgust. Clearly, he perjured himself and we cited him in contempt. Bunsod sa aking motion, ipinakulong natin siya. Mr. President, appearing the next day at the TRICOM hearing at the House of Representatives, this former DPWH Assistant District Engineer by the name of Bryce Erickson Diaz Hernandez, or Bryce, also known as Marvin Santos de Guzman, yung kanyang alias sa casino, apparently realized he needed to level up dahil hindi niya nalusutan ang ating Blue Ribbon Committee. Hindi pa sapat ang pagsisinungaling niya para pagtakpan at maisalba niya ang kanyang sarili. So while he was in detention here at the Senate, sabi niya, nakapag-isip po ako at nagdesisyon na maglabas ng ilang nalalaman ko sa flood control project. Tama po, sabi niya, tama po si Senator Lacson na mga engineers ng DPWH ay tila naging legman o bagman na lang. Kung tatanungin niyo po ako kung sino o kanino kami naging bagman, sasagutin ko na po ngayon. Nakapag-isip? May naniniwala ba dito? Samantalong ayon nga sa impormasyon ni Senator Lacson, habang naghihiring ang Blue Ribbon noong September 1, nasa casino siya at nagsusugal. And then, lo and behold, during the TRICOM hearing, he then proceeded to take off from that remark jokingly addressed to me by Senator Marcoleta when Mr. Diskaya said that there were no senators involved. Ang sabi ni Senator Marcoleta, safe ka na. Mr. Hernandez said, sabi ni Senator Marcoleta kahapon, ligtas ka na. Hindi po ito totoo. Si Senator Jinggoy Ejercito de Estrada, Senator Joel Villanueva, Yusek Robert Bernardo at D.E. Alcantara. Si Sen Jinggoy po ay nagbaba ng 355 million ngayon 2025 sa mga ilang projects sa Bulacan at ang sabi po ng boss ko dito ay 30% ang commitment dito. Mr. President, this is a blatant lie. Isang malaking kasinungalingan. I wish I did not have to borrow your time in this privileged hour to demonstrate how crooked my accuser is. I know most of you have probably witnessed the proceedings in the investigations conducted by both houses of Congress where he has so far appeared. But I beg your indulgence in defense of my name, which Mr. Hernandez conveniently dragged to take the heat off him and his cable. A desperate attempt to divert attention away from the real issue, his own involvement in ghost projects and questionable dealings. Batay sa aking mga nakalap na sinumpaang salaysay ng ilan sa mga kawani ng DPWH at mga kasamahan ni Mr. Hernandez, malinaw nasangkot siya sa mga ghost project sa Bulacan. Pinatotohanan ito ng hindi lamang isa, kundi 3 opisyal na nagsabing siya at si RJ Dumasig, Project Engineer 1 ng Bulacan, 1st District Engineering Office, ay kapwa kasangkot sa mga proyektong ito. Pinatotohanan din ito ni na John Michael Ramos, dating OIC ng Construction Section ng Bulacan, 1st District Engineering Office, Ernesto Galang, Hepe ng Planning and Design Section ng parehong distrito, at Norberto De Leon Santos, Hepe ng Quality Assurance Section. Lahat sila ay nagbigay ng sinumpang salaysay na nagdidiin kay Bryce Erickson Hernandez. Ang dalawang ito ay kabilang sa tiniguruan ni Senator Lacson na BGC Boys o Bulacan Group of Contractors, mga suki sa kasino. Si Bryce, also known as Marvin Santos de Guzman, ay nakapaglustay na abot ng 435 million at nakapag-launder ng perang humigit sa 1 bilyong piso. Samantalang si RJ, alias Sandro Bernardo Park, ay umabot naman sa 16.9 million ang natalo sa kasino. Ginoong Pangulo, malinaw ang paglalahad ng ating kasamang senador na ang kanilang mga gawain ay nagpapahiwatig na sila'y sangkot sa paglilinis o paglalaba ng mga nakulimbat nilang pondo ng bayan. Sa aking pagtatanong nitong nakarang Lunes sa pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon Committee sa General Manager ng Sims Construction Trading na si Ginang Sally Santos, inamin niya na naghatid siya ng kabuwang 1 bilyong piso mula taong 2022 hanggang taong 2025 sa DPWH at iniabot yon kay Mr. Bryce Hernandez. Ayon pa kay Ginang Santos, ang halaga ng pera na kanyang dinadala na minsan ay nakalagay sa mga kahon ng noodles ay depende sa proyekto at minsan ay umabot ng 245 million pesos sa isang hatid. Kapal ng mukha mo. Sinabi rin ni Ginang Santos na si Mr. Hernandez at DPWH Engineer JP Mendoza, Chief ng DPWH Bulacan's Construction Division, ay ginagamit ang lisensya ng Sims Construction para sa mga proyekto nila. Si Mr. Mendoza, na may alias na PJ Castro Asuncion, na pinangalanan din ni Senate President Pro Tem Lacson, na kabilang sa BGC Boys, ay may kabuwang 418 million na nilustay sa iba't ibang kasino at nakapag-launder ng perang mahigit 280 million pesos. Kung nakakapagpatalo ng 10 milyon si Mr. Hernandez sa kasino, hindi na rin siguro nakapagtataka kung bakit hindi siya nalalayo sa mga diskaya pagdating sa paramihan ng koleksyon ng mga sasakyan. Nauna nang inamin ni Mr. Hernandez na siya at ang kanyang asawa na isang dating rank and file employee ng GSIS ay nagmamayari na mga mamahalang sasakyan gaya ng Dodge Challenger, Toyota Supra at Lamborghini Urus Performante. Hindi ito karaniwang pag-aari ng isang empleyado ng gobyerno. At hindi pa dito nagtatapos ang listahan, Ginoong Pangulo. Nandun sa kanyang garahe, isang Ford Everest, Ford Territory, Toyota Corolla Cross, Suzuki Jimny, Mitsubishi Pajero, Honda Civic Type R Turbo, and add to this his collection of high-end motorcycles, BMW R1250 GS, Yamaha T-Max, BMW C400 GT, Ducati X Diavel Nera, Honda Goldwing, Ducati Street Fighter, BMW R1300 GS, Vespa scooter, at yung kanyang asawa, meron 2 Toyota Hilux, isang Toyota Fortuner, Kia Carnival, BMD X3, Toyota Land Cruiser, Vespa Primavera, Honda, BMW. Mga kaibigan, Ginoong Pangulo, Bryce Hernandez claims these vehicles are part of a buy and sell business run by his sibling. But why are all these vehicles registered under their names. Bakit nakarehistro ang kanilang mga sasakyan sa kanilang mga pangalan kung sinasabi niya buy and sell business itong mga ginagawa nila? Gago. Magkano ba ang sahod ni Hernandez? Sapat ba ang kanyang kita o ng kanyang asawa para magkaroon ng ganitong karangyaan? Mr. President, ginagamit bilang umano'y ebidensya laban sa akin ang mga larawang kuha sa iba't ibang okasyon gaya ng birthday party. Makailang beses ko man na nakaduupang palad si DE, District Engineer Henry Alcantara, kaya ko humarap sa kahit sino at sabihin na hindi ko siya personal na kilala. Mismo ang Pangulong Marcos na nga nagsabi na ang mga larawan natin ng mga opisyal o public figures ay hindi sapat na batayan para patunayan at masabing talagang kilala natin ang mga nakakasalamuhan natin. To quote President Marcos, alam naman ninyo, ini-name drop lahat. Magpapakuha lang ng picture tapos sasabihin, o tingnan mo, malapit kami. Sa isang araw, 1,000 yung nagpapapicture sa akin eh. So lahat ng 1,000 na yan, malapit na ba sa akin? People have to be more careful at huwag sila masyadong gullible. Yan po ang sinabi ng ating mahal na Pangulo. Tungkol naman sinasabi niya, hinggil sa isang nagngangalang Beng Ramos na nagpakilala daw ng miyembro ng aking staff sa Senado. Malinaw na ipinakita niyang text exchanges sa kanyang cellphone na nangyari ang kanilang pag-uusap tungkol umano sa isang pagdideliver ng pera noong December 22, 2022. Mr. President, 6 na buwan pa lang ako mula nung mahalal muli sa Senado. Wala akong kinalaman or anuman partisipasyon sa budget deliberations para sa 2022 budget. Mag-iimbento ka lang, sablay pa. Mr. President, there is no one among my staff named Beng Ramos. Wala akong staff o consultant na Beng Ramos. No such person has ever been employed, much less authorized to use my name or act on my behalf. Mr. President, let me just share that even before the resumption of the third hearing of the Blue Ribbon Committee last Monday, I already received warnings from various quarters. I was told that if I continue to actively participate in the investigation on ghost flood control projects, I will become an easy target. An easy target, they say, because of accusations hurled against me in the past relating to the PDAF issue. Mr. President, I told these people, warning me, and as I have stated at the start of the Senate investigation into these public works anomalies, hinarap ko po sa hukuman lahat ng kasong inihain laban sa akin. Hindi lang ako sumuko ng kusa nung ako'y pinaratangan at ikinulong. Ako po'y nakipaglaban ng patas sa proseso ng batas at hustisya at naghintay ng matagal na panahon sa pagdating ng hatol sa mga kasong ito. Hindi po ako nawala. Hindi po ako nagtago. Hindi po ako tumakas o nagbintang ng mga taong walang kinalaman sa mga akusasyon laban sa akin. At great cost to my family, my freedom, and my political career, I have acquitted myself of the grave charge of plunder before the bar of justice and the legal system we are all sworn to uphold. Should that sad and dark chapter of my life be a reason for me now to do nothing, say nothing, and just keep quiet when my job as an elected senator of this country calls on me to take a stand and expose these people? No, Mr. President, I cannot and will not shirk from my sworn duty to ferret out the truth. I will not be silenced when I know I can contribute something to the task at hand. I will continue to do my best to be worthy of the support that I was generously given by the people who elected me back to this Senate. Tama nga, nagbigay ng babala sa akin. I am an easy target. Kaya isang araw, pagkatapos ko sabihin na dapat i-contempt ang sinungaling na si Bryce Hernandez, tumakbo siya sa Kongreso sa mababang kapulungan para ilako ang isang kwento na sa tingin niya ay madaling paniwalaan. Hindi lang yun. Paulit-ulit niyang sinasabi ang akala niya safe siya. Walang galang na. Halatang galing pa sa isang script na binabasa. Marami sa akin ang nagsasabi, huwag kong patulan ang isang tao na sa sobrang kapal na muka, nakuha pang magkasino habang iniimbestigahan ang mga krimen niya dito sa Senado. Mr. President, kung nakuha kong humarap sa kaso at tanggapin ang kaparusahan ng isang krimen kung saan ako'y napawalang sala, lalong kayang-kaya kong harapin ang isang Bryce Hernandez na lantarang sinungaling at magnanakaw. Ang sabi nga ni Senator Marcoleta, safe ka na. With due respect to our colleague, hindi po, Senator Marcoleta. Hindi ikaw, hindi ako, at lalong hindi safe ang taong bayan. Hanggang may mga Bryce Hernandez na engineer ng kasinungalingan at pandarambong ay hindi tayo safe. Hanggang may mga ghost projects sa DPWH at iba pang ahensya ng gobyerno, hindi safe ang pera ng bawat Pilipino na nagbabayad ng buwis. Isipin na lang ninyo, takot na takot ang mga kababayan natin basta BAR na ang kaharap habang may mga walang konsensyang tao na isinusugal lamang sa kasino ang pera ng pinaghirapan at binuno nilang ibayad. Hanggang may mga tao na nagbabayad, nananakot at ngayon ay pilit na nililis ang kwento, ay hindi tayo safe. Mr. President, my dear colleagues, if my opponents think that they can weaponize me, that they can weaponize my past to stop me from investigating, nagkakamali sila. If my critics think that funding a social media campaign against me will prevent me from going after liars, thieves, and crooks, hindi nila ako kilala. I have been bashed and now targeted for the way I go after lying witnesses. Totoo, brusko ako magtanong at minsan ay naninigaw pa. But I make no apologies. Subukan ninyong humarap sa mga taong sinungaling at mayabang pa. Mga witness na halatang halata na niloloko ka. Mga opisyal na gobyerno na nagmamalinis at nagtuturoan. Tingnan natin kung hindi kayo magalit. Mr. President, my brother, Senator J.V. Ejercito, is known as the good one. Okay lang po yan. Dahil kapatid ko naman siya. But let me be known as the other strada who went after the bad ones. I will expose and relentlessly pursue the bad ones regardless of the risk and notwithstanding the cost. Hindi ako natatakot at lalong hindi ko papayagan na gamitin ng masasamang tao ang nakaraan ko para lamang patahimikin ako. I have been jailed. I have been vilified, crucified, and publicly humiliated. But I will never allow the likes of Bryce Hernandez to turn the tables on me. Kayo ang nasasakdal sa mata ng taong bayan, hindi ako. Mr. President, I vow never to let the masterminds and engineers of this massive defrauding of the Filipino people to silence me. Hindi pa ako tapos at lalong hindi ko kayo uurungan. Ginoong Pangulo, maraming salamat po at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you, Senator Jingo Estrada. Majority Leader. Senator Bato de la Rosa is seeking the floor. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last time I know that Bryce Hernandez was cited in contempt and was issued a commitment order to the USAA detention room. May I know the whereabouts of that Bryce Hernandez right now, Mr. President?
Well, according to the newspaper accounts that I've read, I think they had our Senate President and the Speaker of the House had an agreement to commit Bryce Hernandez at the PNP Custodial Center at Camp Crame.
May
If I'm
I
correct, Mr.
clarify?
President.
May I clarify that quite accurate answer by Senator Estrada for the information of Senator De La Rosa and the public. Yesterday, after the hearing, during the hearings that they were conducting in the House, Speaker Martin Romualdez called me and said that their committee was allowing Mr. Hernandez to remain in the House and in the House of Representatives, and that he was requesting that he not be returned back to the Senate because of some fear for his life. That is according to him. So what I did was I asked the Speaker what he plans, because we cannot allow that. I said he is under our custody and therefore he is in contempt in the Senate. Pag iniwan namin sa inyo, sabi ko, ibig sabihin niyan para namin pinawalan.
Correct,
Kaya
Mr.
hindi
President.
ako pumayag. Correct. So
Correct.
what I did was I asked the Sergeant-at-Arms to bring Mr. Hernandez to the PNP Custodial Center, and that is where he is now. He's still under the care of the OSAA.
Mr. President, is there a possibility that we can commit him back here in the Senate?
Of course, during he's still under custody of the Senate, and therefore
Let him be jailed here, Mr. President.
indirects. We had to give in to the request of the Speaker that he be not returned here as.
Yeah, but Mr. President, I think as we speak, the jurisdiction of the person of Bryce Hernandez belongs to the Senate.
Yes, and that's why we can call him here anytime we need him.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah. Senator Alan Cayetano is recognized.
Mr. President, on
The
that
Minority
point,
Leader is recognized.
may I know, Mr. President, will that be the new rule? Because under the present rule, kung sino may jurisdiction, siya'y magde-decide. So for example, siya'y incarcerated under RTC. So magpapaalam tayo sa RTC kung pwede nating hiramin. So nagpaalam sila sa atin kung pwede natin nila hiramin yung witness. Kasi insulto po sa atin yung sabihin, may mangyayari sa kanya dito. Unang-una po, 24 tayo na lahat independent. Sinabi na rin po ng Senate President na ginagalang natin na independent ang Senate. Never naman po nagkaroon ng problema dito. ZTE, Pangulo pa. I remember dito, munti kaming maghablutan, if Senator Lacson remembers, with former Congressman Andaya, with our other witnesses, with Secretary Neri. Di ba, parang may PSG pa atang pumasok, whatever, no? But we were able to handle it well and come to a conclusion. My point, Mr. President, is this. What if the reverse happens now? What if we borrow a witness from the House? Is that the new rule now? Na PNP custodial na? Or makikiusap tayo pabalik sa House? Because I don't think we should change rules without doing it either in caucus as a group. But I see the wisdom, Mr. President, of your immediate action. I'm not questioning your immediate action, Mr. President. I'm just asking, moving forward, shouldn't we keep the old rule na kung sino may custody, yun ang mag-keep nung custody niya, Mr. President?
Yes, and that is the decision that the presiding officer made last night. Indeed, you are right. He is in our custody. Now, what we did yesterday was what we call parliamentary courtesy in accepting the proposal that he be not returned here but still under the care of the Senate. Now, in the issue of, let's say, keeping it here, or the previous tradition that the Senate may cite in contempt anyone and keep him here. We have also placed a witness to Muntinlupa, if you will recall.
Yes.
We also even sent somebody to the Pasay City Jail. So I don't see any reason why we cannot commit this particular fellow to the PNP Custodial Center. But then again, I will leave it to the decision of the body. That was my decision last night. But if there is something that is a new decision that you would want, I will throw it to the body.
Mr. President, I respect your decision, and I will tell you if I don't. I have always been honest and told you what I thought, no? And I do agree that certain decisions have to be made right away by the Senate President at that point. And you do not want a constitutional crisis or ayaw natin mag-agawan ng witness sa gitna ng and perception is important. Kung nakipag-agawan po kayo o tayo kagabi, it would appear na baka may katotohanan yung sinabi about senators kaya pinipilit natin dito. The problem is, meron din kasing perception tuloy that by not having him back here, baka nga totoong ini-impluensya natin. But from my point of view, from my limited point of view at this point in time, when he was here, no one was talking to him from the Senate panel. But according to Senator Marcoleta, he got information that the witness was being asked to single out senators there. So only God knows if Senator Jinggoy is the good one or the better one. Only God knows the totality of accusations against Brother Joel. But what do I know? I know na si Brother Joel, 2016 pa lang, 2017, when I left the Senate to go to the DFA, speech na ng speech to tungkol sa flood control eh. Even President Duterte had a speech na ang problema ko, DPWH. And never tinago ni ni President Duterte. Nandun yun po, nasa Facebook, nasa TikTok na sinasabi niya, baka may ghost project pa. 2022, to be fair to our new chairman of the committee on the Blue Ribbon Committee and the Senate President, you weren't here at that time, but I'm sure you monitored it. Tinuturo naman ni Secretary Bonoan kung bakit nagkaganon yung budget at ba't suddenly lumaki na naman yung budget. No? So the point is, Mr. President, perception here matters. Tomorrow ba or the next day, we will announce, I think Malacanang has already said they will announce a independent commission. The minority has not discussed whether we will support it or not. Personally, I support it. But just like Ferdinand Marcos Sr., he always asked the opposition for one member. Kasi kahit gaano ka-independent ang members niyan, kahit anong integrity niyan, tao pa rin yan eh. Pwedeng may agenda pa rin yung mga yan. So we will discuss in the minority. For example, kung maglalagay sila doon, do they commit? Hindi sila tatakbo for national office in 2028. Baka may integrity nga. Gagamitin naman yung commission to run in 2028. Will they sign also that wala silang conflict of interest? Because some of the credible people now being interviewed are part of conglomerates and are working for oligarchs that also have their interests, maybe not in infrastructure, but on other things. So ang point ko, Mr. President, na-disrupt yung sistema ng corruption, which is good. Pero ang ginagawa pabalik ng mga corrupt, dinidisrupt din tayo eh. Dinidisrupt din yung mga nag-imbestiga. That's why yesterday, I am happy we have a consensus, the majority and minority, that we should continue our hearings. Iba yung sa House. I mean, wala tayong pakialam doon. If we agree with it or not, nasa sa kanila yon. Kung nag-iimbento sila o totoo sinasabi nila, yan ang sistema eh. Democracy is messy. Tayo po dito, respetuhin din nila. Kung may problema sa miyembro natin, 24 naman po tayo. We call out each other and we find a way to still have coffee or merienda together in the lounge. Sometimes not for 1 week because we're upset at each other. But that's the system, Mr. President. So again, Mr. President, I support, I acknowledge your right and the wisdom of deciding that last night. But personally, I don't know my companions in the minority. Personally, labanan ngayon ng perception. Tutuloy ba yung mga hearings? Sino ba ipapatawag? Kakampihan ba natin mga senador? Porque kapwa senador yon. Pwede ba magsalita yung iba? Kasi dati siyang DPWH. Kasi dati siyang speaker. Dati siyang all of this will be there, Mr. President. No? If only we could have the speeches of Senator Lacson in like yesterday in such an orderly manner. But hindi po ganun pagka pag nandiyan na yung mga witnesses Ang katotohanan po nun, kung 10 yung witness, unless we have 1 witness at a time, pero kung 10 ang witness, 10 ang senador, you cannot stop any senator kung sino tatanungin niya doon, Mr. President, di ba? So yun po ang problema lang, that since this involves high-ranking people and the PNP is not under the Senate, it creates another perception who controls who. But thank you for informing us that TUSAA is there and they're looking at that. No? But Mr. President, sa akin lang po, kung babaguhin yung rule, so I acknowledge you're not changing the rule. You made a decision and is throwing it back. But kung babaguhin yung rule, I think we have to discuss it thoroughly. Because nga, masyadong mabigat yung accusation nung DE ba? Assistant DE na takot siya dito or whatever. Kasi Mr. President, ang dami na natin naging witness dito kung sino-sino inaccuse kapwa senador Never naman. I think, when I was Blue Ribbon Chair, I just remember si June Losada natulog pa sa couch sa opisina ko. Sa baba, I think I only visited 1 witness once. Otherwise, hindi So, anyway, Mr. President, thank you for your patience in hearing us out. But may I defer to the chairperson now of the committee.
Yes, before Senator Ping Lacson is recognized.
Thank you,
before
Mr. President. With all due respect to the distinguished minority leader, there's what we call legal custody and physical custody. Lawyers know this, Mr. President. As long as the Senate retains the legal custody over the person of Bryce Hernandez, the physical custody is of no moment, Mr. President. Whenever we need him, we'll just direct the PNP Custodial Center to deliver him here. And if the House of Representatives will be needing him, they will have to ask our permission. They cannot go direct to the PNP and tell them to bring the person of Bryce Hernandez to the House of Representatives. And this is not a new rule, Mr. President. We have committed Alvin Balag to the Pasay City Jail. We have committed persons cited in contempt by the Senate in other detention centers. We're not changing the rules, Mr. President. So that's my manifestation, Mr. President.
Yeah. Minority Leader, go ahead.
Tama po si Senator Lacson na may legal at physical custody. Pero it's always the committee and the Senate who decides the physical custody. So in the case na sinabi yung Pasay City Jail, it was the decision of Senator Dick Gordon and the committee na dun ilagay. In fact, ayaw nila Yung mga kinulong doon, gusto nga dito. In this case, it is the witness, Assistant DE, saying, wag niyo akong dalhin doon, tapos siya yung nasunod. So the issue here is not only the physical and the legal custody. The issue also is the integrity of the Senate, the perception that if we don't have him here, de lahat na lang ng witnesses sasabihin, wag tayo doon. Paano kung wala rin silang tiwala sa PNP? Wag sa PNP, lilipat natin sa NBI. The peculiarity of this case is that it wasn't the House nor the Senate, nor the PNP, nor the intelligence community making the request. It was the witness.
I beg to disagree. It was Speaker Martin Romualdez who was asking me.
Yes,
I
Mr.
did not
President.
talk to the witness. I did not hear him say. It was only Speaker
Mr. President,
Martin.
it was live in the hearing. Bago siya magsalita, sinabi niya, pwede ba, mga congressman, wag niyo akong ibabalik sa Senate dahil may mga, hindi ako safe, may mga senador doon. Ang sabi ng congressman, magsalita ka muna. Meaning condition pa nila, magsalita ka, saka na. That's why I think, in fairness to the speaker, no? I don't think this is his personal
I don't think he
wishes.
was also present.
Yeah,
in much the same way as I did not hear that
Let me clarify
particular-
that, Mr. President. I
Yes.
don't think it's his personal request. I think he was conveying it as Speaker to this chamber in the same manner na pag may request kami sa House, either the Majority Leader or the Senate President will request it. But hindi naman po alam ng tao na ang request ay formal eh. And again, hindi ko na question yung kagabi. But all over the news and live, yun po ang lumalabas. Yung witness ang nagdidikta na wag niyo ako ibalik sa Senate. Ano ba experience niya dito? Ano ba ang ginawa natin sa kanya? Di ba?
Wag siyang ibalik sa Senate for detention. Pero
Yes.
we will never allow that he not be brought here back when
Agree,
you
Mr.
need it.
President,
As a
but
matter of fact, if you move for for him to be returned here, we will return him right away.
Agree, Mr. President. Ang problema kasi gives the impression na pag dito, mapre-pressure or may kakausap sa kanya eh. Yun yung impression ngayon eh. Which I think is unfair to all of us. I'd love for him to name senators here para ma-confront natin na siya. But anyway, Mr. President,
Yes,
I think we
okay.
vented I don't know the pleasure of my colleagues. No? May I yield to
Okay.
Senator
So
Marcoleta?
just to ventilate more on what the minority leader was saying, let me just place on record so that the public will know. You know, we have Section 6C of the rules of the Blue Ribbon Committee. It's very clear. It says a witness cited in contempt may be ordered to be detained in such place as may be designated by the committee alone or with the concurrence of the Senate President. Or either.
Just on the rules, we've done this already in the past, and we have not deviated from the rules. But if our good colleagues would like to discuss this further, maybe in a caucus, after the speeches, we could have a caucus and discuss, Mr. President, if we want him back here, or we would keep him in the PNP Custodial Center.
Yes,
So that we can continue with the debates.
We'll continue with that. But before I recognize Senator De La Rosa or Senator Marcoleta, again, for the concern of the minority leader, the People's or the Independent Commission that is being created, we leave it up to the executive. That's their problem. But in the Senate, I have filed since August 16 the Independent People's Commission. Perhaps your concern can be addressed in our own bill. I hope very soon we will be conducting a hearing on the matter.
Yeah, both, Mr. President, because if you remember, during the time of Ferdinand Marcos Sr., there were independent commissions. And the opposition, and we are the new opposition here,
Yes.
advocated that. But I am studying your bill, and I thank you for filing it, Mr.
We
President.
can include that. We can include that. And this bill will be a lot better than the executive order because the executive order can be shut down by the Supreme Court. But especially Section 4 of the proposed executive order. But in Section 4 of the Independent People's Commission, we are practically addressing that already right there in the bill. All right, thank you. Senator, are you giving way? Senator
you, Mr.
Marcoleta is
President.
recognized.
May I have the permission, Mr. President, to read your letter addressed to the House Infrastructure Committee dated September 8, 2025. This is to formally approve your request for Mr. Bryce Hernandez to attend your hearing tomorrow, September 9, 2025, 9 a.m. at the People's Center House of Representatives. We expect that he be returned safely immediately after the said hearing to the Senate. So this is very categorical, Mr. President. Their request that he be called for hearing in the House of Representatives was conditioned upon his safely return to the Senate. There is no need for a motion, Mr. President. I was still the chairman of Blue Ribbon Committee at the time, and it was very clear that we committed him to the custody of our Sergeant-at-Arms, not in Quezon City, not anybody else. And so, as already asked by Senator Alan, We are not supposed to change the rule. I move, Mr. President, that he be back immediately to the custody of the Senate, not only because this is the condition that you gave them, but more importantly, in order to erase the perception that if he is here in the Senate, he is not safe. I will reject the idea that if he returns in the Senate, manganganib ang buhay niya. It is as if that we're giving credence to his statement, which I believe is not true, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. President, with due respect to our colleague, Senator Marcoleta, there was an intervention. Actually, he was supposed to come back to the Senate. But the Speaker of the House had intervened and asked if he can be kept in the House, which you did not agree. And
Yes.
you said that we will put him in the PNP Custodial Center under the custody still of OSA and the Senate.
Legal custody of the
Yes.
Senate.
So
Still.
when he wrote the letter, Your Honor, wala pang intervention. So walang kasalanan dyan si Senate President. He was going to bring him in, but we are not bending any rule.
But the
Because the Senate
request-
President already has said the rule.
Mr.
which allows
President, the
us-
request of the Speaker of the House of Representatives is inconsequential here. Legal or otherwise, the custody must be here. They are only asking us to lend him to their committee. The legal custody is still acquired by the Senate. And then the committee was the one who ordered him to be legally detained in the custody of the Senate. The committee was the one who did that, not the Speaker of the House of Representatives. He could request that. But we are sorry to deny that
Maybe,
because
Mr.
the legal
President, Mr.
custody,
President, yeah.
legal or physical, is still with the Senate.
Mr. President, I think the points raised by Senator Marcoleta are valid. I think at the time, the witness had no fear of his life, but now he has fear of his life. We will guarantee that he's safe, even if he's in the Senate. No, that's why we're guaranteeing his safety if he's here in the Senate. But let's also be transparent, Your Honor, because I think the question there is, kung meron bang mag-iimpluwensya pa sa kanya.
That
Diba?
was the point of the
Later on.
Minority Leader.
Correct.
There might be a perception that if he is here, he might be influenced by someone. That is also
Correct, Mr. President.
the Minority Leader made mention of that.
And that's why I believe the Senate President made that decision to keep him in a neutral area, which is the PNP Custodial Center. But then again, Mr. President, we're a deliberative body. If the body would wish him back here to the Senate, then we can discuss it further.
Mr. President, just a quick intervention.
Go ahead, Senator Lacson.
I would like to echo the earlier manifestation of the Majority Leader. Yung letter po ng ating Senate President was valid before the intervening event occurred. So we cannot invoke the letter of the Senate President kasi wala pa yung intervening event na mayroong request from the Speaker of the House. And the Senate President, using his own wisdom, granted the request, but we have not given the legal custody of Bryce Hernandez to the House. We still maintain or retain the legal custody over his person. And as I mentioned earlier, kung kailangan siya ng House, they will have to seek permission from the Senate President.
Again, yes, they are not in
Thank you, Mr.
custody.
President.
Yes,
Mr.
Senator De La Rosa,
President.
yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
You know,
Let Senator De La Rosa speak first. Go ahead.
we have a very sad experience, Mr. President. Because if the reason why the Speaker requested for Bryce Hernandez to be detained not in the Senate, because for fear of being influenced by anybody or any member of the Senate. Alam mo, Mr. President, Colonel Grijaldo, nag-testify dito sa ating committee about the wrongdoings of the members of the Quadcom. Nagsumbong siya dito, Mr. President. And after he read his statement, sabi niya sa amin, Sir, can I be protected by the Senate? Dahil alam kong pinag-initan na ako ngayon ng House. So, I share the information to the committee and even to the leadership of the Senate. But the following day, or the days after, he was required to appear before the Quadcom and he was cited in contempt. Nang siya ay na-contempt, kinulong siya doon. At nang kinulong siya doon, look, what happened? Binubombard siya doon, pinupuntahan siya doon at sinasabihan na huwag yung gusto namin na mangyari, gawin mo na para makalabas ka na dito sa kulungan. Hindi nag-give in si Colonel Grijaldo. Kinulong siya hanggang natapos ang 19th Congress. So, Mr. President, sila ay takot sa kanilang ginagawa mismo. Hindi po yan gagawain ng Senado na mag-impluensya ng resource person. Never pa nangyari yan na mayroong pumunta doon sa baba, tinakot yung nakakulong contempt, cited in contempt na resource person. Gawain nila yan sa House of Representatives. Ginawa nila kay Colonel Grijaldo. Kaya huwag tayong basta-basta bumigay sa kanila dahil we should be independent from them, Mr. President. Hindi natin sila dapat sundin kung anong kagustuhan nila. We have to stand on our own. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Yes, Senator Marcoleta.
noong pong September 8, 2025, ako pa rin po ang chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee. Ang Blue Ribbon Committee po ang nag-approve ng legal and physical custody nung ma-cite in contempt si Bryce Hernandez. Nung makiusap po ang Speaker ng House of Representatives sa inyo, di po ba dapat nakonsulta naman ang chairman ng Blue Ribbon Committee? Dahil kami po, ginawa namin yon through the collective wisdom of the committee. Hindi po namin gawa-gawa yon. Kaya lang namin siya sinite in contempt sapagkat halos ipamukha na namin sa kanya ang mga datos. Ibinigay ko na sa kanya ang lahat ng ipinanalo at ipinatalo niya sa kasino. Pati yung ginagamit niyang dalawang ID na galing sa LTO, ayaw pa niyang aminin. Ganun po yung nangyari. Gusto lamang namin siyang turuan ng leksyon para sa ganun kahit papano baka maisip niya na dapat sana mapahiya na siya sa sarili niya kung meron pa siyang kahihiyan. Dapat naman sana nung siya'y mag-request ngayon sa House of Representatives, hindi po sa kanya dapat manggaling ang request kung saan siya magko-custody. Ang custody po yung natapos na. Nagsalita na po ang Blue Ribbon Committee. Bakit po hindi man lang nakonsulta ang Blue Ribbon Committee? Bakit kailangan po ang House of Representatives Speaker ang mananaig sa kanyang request? Kalabisan na po ba ang Blue Ribbon Committee noong araw na yon, Mr. President?
May I be clarified on what date that transpired? Yesterday or
September 8 po.
Monday?
Yes, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Monday was the hearing here in the Senate. Monday he was cited in contempt. But
Yeah.
the hearing in the House was on Tuesday, September 9.
Yes,
And as,
Tuesday. So in the evening,
Opo.
when yesterday, no. So in the evening, when the speaker called me, Senator Marcoleta was no longer chairman of the Blue Ribbon.
No more, because we had already elected
It was
Senator
already Senator Lacson.
Lacson, yes.
Ibig bang sabihin po, Mr. President, nawawala ng visa yung ginawa namin?
Hindi.
Ganun po pala.
He's still in legal custody.
Dapat po,
Therefore,
igagalang po kung ano yung aming iniwan.
yes,
Doon tayo magsisimula.
Ang iniwan ninyo, cite in contempt.
Hindi
And
po.
legal
Nasa
custody
legal
of the
custody
Senate.
na po ng,
He was
ng
still
House.
under the legal custody of
ng
the Senate.
Mr. President, may I ask for a minute suspension?
Session suspended.
Yes, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
The status is we were in debate about the status of the witness, Bryce Hernandez. Hernandez, Mr. President. So I think in consensus, would you like to make the motion, Mr. President, on where to? Yes, Mr. President. Therefore, yes. Can we recognize Senator?
Senator
Estrada?
Jinggoy
Can I just make a
Estrada is
motion,
recognized.
Mr. President, Majority Leader? I move that we commit Bryce Erickson Hernandez to the Pasay City Jail, Mr. President.
I second the motion of the good
Any objection?
gentleman.
Chair hears none. And the chairman of the Blue Ribbon concurs. Hearing no objection, the Bryce Hernandez is hereby
Mr. President, if I may, but just to put on record that it's with the understanding that the Senate retains its jurisdiction over that person, Mr. President. Just
Of
to put that
course.
on record, Mr. President.
Of
Thank you.
course, it has never been the opposite. It was always under our legal custody. So the motion is to transfer that particular person to the Pasay City Jail. Any objection? Chair hears none. Motion is approved. The Sergeant at Arms is hereby directed to transfer Bryce Hernandez to the Pasay City Jail as soon as possible.
Just a manifestation, if I may, Mr.
Senator
President.
Estrada,
Mr. President, I
Estrada
think
is
we have
recognized.
to ask the OSA to be strict in implementing the rules with regard to the visitation hours of a prisoner, Mr. President. No visitors allowed, only
Lawyers.
immediate members of the family, lawyers, priests, etc., etc. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, the Sergeant at Arms is hereby directed and make a list of those who will visit him.
Yes, we'd like to
Thank you.
recognize Senator Marcoleta, Mr. President.
Senator Marcoleta is recognized.
Mr. President, meron po pong isang isyong naiwan dahil noong September 8 po, while I was still the chairman of the Blue Ribbon, napagkaisaan po ng komite dahil sa noong September 1, kung maalala po natin, as chairman, I floated the idea na para makatulong po kung merong gustong lumabas na do sa 15 na kasama sa pagdinig, makakatulong po sila ma-identify po lahat ng mga kasabwat sa anomalyang paglalatag ng mga proyektong pang flood control. Pinload po natin yung idea na kung gusto ninyo, ay kinakausap na po namin ng DOJ, you may be provided by provisional immunity. Of course, pag-aaralan natin kung qualified kayo. Sa nakikita naman namin, basta hindi kayo most guilty at napakarami pong ibang mga requisites doon, tinignan po natin mabuti. After 1 week, Mr. President, dalawa pong mag-asawa, yung Diskaya, ang naggawa po ng sworn statement. Pero bago po nila gawin yon, ay siniguro ko po na talagang sila ay voluntary na gagawa ng sworn statement. Kaya yung pong kanilang emissary, sinabi ko, kailangan sumulat muna sila na talagang gusto nilang magsalita at walang halong pagsisinungaling ito. Yun ang option na gusto nila at narinig nila yung aming pinopload na option na sila'y lumabas bilang isang witness, a state witness. Yun nga po ang nangyari, Mr. President, hanggang sa sila nga ay tumestigo sa komite, dala-dala at binasa nila yung kanilang sworn statement. Nang dahil po doon, Mr. President, ay gumawa kami ng sulat sa ating kalihim ng Department of Justice at yun nga po ay September 8, 2025. Gusto ko po malaman, Mr. President, ano po yung status noon sapagkat kayo na po ang pumalit na Senate President by that time.
Yes, the proposal and your intention is indeed, yes, it's laudable. We may be able to get state witnesses there, no? But that September 8, evening of September 8, when I was informed about it, what I did was to decide that the issue be referred to the Blue Ribbon Committee. especially knowing that there will be a new composition the following day. That was quite late at night when I received the notice.
Mr. President, if that happens, parang ang aming pong pinag-usapan noon while I was still the chairman of the Blue Ribbon Committee, parang nawalan po ng saysay. Ang mangyayari po noon, with all due respect, baka po ma-compromise o mawala po yung integrity ng proceedings natin. The integrity of the inquiry is very, very important here. Sila po ay pinangakuan namin sapagkat nagpapasaklolo sila, alam nila na may panganib ang buhay, hindi lamang sa kanilang mag-asawa kung hindi yung pamilya nila. Kaya nakita po namin ang urgency. Mr. President, September 10 na po ngayon. Kung sakali pong totoo na nanganganib ang buhay nila, yun pong ipinangako namin na immunity sa kanila na makakatulong po. At yun naman po ang naging courage sa kanila para lumabas into the open and tell all. Nakita naman po ninyo, talagang initially nakapagsalita sila nung inaakala nilang kasangkot po, allegedly, sa mga maanumalyang paglalatag ng flood control projects. Kaya po, ang tanong ko ngayon, kailangan po bang pagpasyahan ng bagong liderato ng Blue Ribbon ang isang bagay na amin na pong naaproba?
Do so to the Blue Ribbon Committee, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. The privileged speech of the gentleman is referred to the committee, to the Blue Ribbon Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I move to consider, Mr. President, with the permission of the body, proposed Senate Resolution number 90, taking consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 100, 109, 118, and 121. This is the resolution commending the awardees of the Metrobank Foundation, outstanding Filipinos. So move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Chair hears none. Consideration of proposed Senate Resolution number 90, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolutions 100, 109, 118, and 121 is now in order.
Mr. President, first to give his...
May we ask the Secretary first to read the title of the measure?
My apologies, Mr. President.
Resolution honoring and commending the awardees of Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos of 2025.
Majority Leader?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to recognize the distinguished gentleman from San Juan, no other than Senator Jinggoy Estrada, for his sponsorship of the measure.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ginong Pangulo, mula po nung ako po yung naging senador ng 2004, taon-taon pong binibigyan ng pagkilala ng Senado ang mga natatanging lingkod bayan na pinarangalan ng Metrobank Foundation. Continuing the annual tradition of the Philippine Senate honoring exemplary public servants, I join my esteemed colleagues in sponsoring this resolution, commending and congratulating the 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipino awardees. Sa panahon na headline ng katawilaan, kasinungalingan at paglustay sa kaban ng bayan, kayo po ay mga buhay na patunay na higit na nakakarami pa rin ang mga kawani ng pamahalaan na tapat na nagsiservisyo, may malasakit sa taong bayan, at katuwang sa pagunlad ng bansa. You all stand as beacons of hope and role models for honest and dedicated public service. Nakakatuwang isipin na ang naibigay na number sa ating isinumiting resolusyon ay 100, na tila nagbibigay ng perfect score at kudos sa ating mga awardees. My sincere congratulations to our 10 distinguished teachers, soldiers, and police officers who have all demonstrated excellence, competence, and integrity throughout their professional career in the academe, peace and order, and security sectors. Master Teacher Noel Sadinas of Casibu, Nueva Vizcaya, Engineer Armando Perfecto Molin of Los Baños, Laguna, Dr. Maylene Uy of Iligan City, Lanao del Norte, Dr. Angelo Mark Walag of Cagayan de Oro City, Colonel Joey Fontiveros, AFP Cyber Command, Philippine Army, Colonel Ricky Canatoy, 4th Infantry Division, Philippine Army, Cagayan de Oro City, Underwater Operationsman First Class Andrew Anthony Toralio of the Philippine Navy, Cavite City. Police Colonel Frederick Obar, PNP Directorate for Plans. Police Major Elmira Relox, PNP Regional Office, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region. And finally, Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco of the PNP Police Security and Protection Group. As your former chairperson of the Senate Committee on National Defense and Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation, I would like to personally give special citation to our outstanding soldiers. Tanggapin po ninyo ang taus-pusong pasasalamat at pagsaludo sa inyong sakripisyo, kabayanihan at dedikasyon sa tungkulin sa gitna ng napakaraming hamon at banta sa ating kapayapaan at soberanya. Rest assured that this representation will continue to author and push for the enactment of measures that will advance the welfare of our soldiers and veterans and adequately support the needs of the defense establishment. Thank you, Mr. President and my dear colleagues.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I believe that you will just insert into the records your sponsorship speech. Is that correct?
Yes, I will just insert into the records the copy of my sponsorship speech.
Thank you, Mr. President. And therefore, we move to the third sponsor, no other than our distinguished former Majority Floor Leader, Senator Joel Villanueva, our Deputy Minority Leader.
Senator Joel Villanueva is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Majority Leader. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, it is with immense honor and pleasure that this representation co-sponsored the resolutions recognizing and congratulating the 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos, being the author of Senate Resolution number 109. Since its founding in 1985, the Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos has celebrated 725 outstanding teachers, soldiers, and police officers who have dedicated their lives to the service of the Filipino nation. In fact, in 2016, Mr. President, this representation had the privilege and blessed of being chosen as the chairperson of the final board of judges in the search for outstanding teachers. In recognition of the exceptional contributions of our outstanding fellow Filipinos to their communities, the Senate annually honors the Metrobank Foundation awardees. Kaya Ginoong Pangulo, ngayong hapon pong ito, kasama po natin ang 10 sa mga kababayan natin na kumakatawan sa tema ng Metrobank Foundation na Beyond Excellence. Time and again, we have mentioned in this great hall that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. This perfectly captures the intention of this award, Mr. President. Our awardees this afternoon went above and beyond the call of duty. Ang mga pararangalan po natin ngayong taon ay tumugon sa tawag ng tungkulin at nag-apply sa kanilang serbisyo para sa kapwa at sa bayan ng buong husay at buong tapang. Hayaan yung kilalanin ko ang bawat isa sa kanila, Ginoong Pangulo. Sila po ay sina Noel Sadinas, Nueva Vizcaya's Champion for Global Citizenship Education, Master Teacher 2, Macalong Elementary School, Nueva Vizcaya. Amando Perfecto Molin, Los Baños Mentor for Future Leaders, Secondary Teacher, South Hill School, Incorporated, Los Baños, Laguna. Maylin M. Uy, Lanao del Norte's Trailblazing Chemist for Nation Building. Professor 6, Mindanao State University, Ilagan Institute of Technology, Lanao del Norte. Angelo Mark Walag, PhD, Cagayan de Oros Pioneer for Experiential Learning. Professor 6, University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines, Misamis Oriental. Underwater Operations Man First Class, Anro Anthony Turalio, PN, Philippine Navy's Specialist Defender Against Violent Extremism. Number 6 is Colonel Ricky Canatoy, PA, Misamis Oriental's Vanguard of Peace and Development. Colonel Joey Fontiveros, PA, AFP's Cyber Ranger in Defense and Security. Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco, PNP's Crusader for Environmental Protection. Police Major Elmira Relox, Tawi-Tawi's Torchbearer of Healing and Compassion. And last but not the least, Mr. President, Police Colonel Frederick Obar, Ilocos Norte's Police Innovator of Transformative Reforms. Mr. President, these 10 individuals embody the very best of who we are as a people. True to this year's theme, Beyond Excellence, they are extraordinary examples of progress, integrity, and selflessness, dedicating their lives to uplifting others and making a lasting difference in their communities. Sa pangwakas, Ginoong Pangulo, I'd like to thank the Metrobank Foundation, headed by its president, our good friend, dear friend, Mr. Philip D., for their unwavering commitment to honoring excellence and promoting a higher standard of public service. Muli, sa inyo pong lahat, maraming salamat at mabuhay po ang 2025 Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President. Mr. President, we'd also like to insert my, just to hasten the proceedings, Mr. President, because we have about 8 more members who want to deliver their sponsorship speeches. I'd like to insert for the record my sponsorship of this measure. Very important resolution.
So inserted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, we'd now like to recognize Senator Bam Aquino, the distinguished gentleman from Tarlac and the Republic of the Philippines.
Senator Bam Aquino is recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. President, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. I'm very happy to co-sponsor Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 90, entitled Honoring and Commending the Awardees of Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos of 2025. Let me first commend our Senate President for sponsoring this resolution. This measure honors these outstanding Filipinos and also serves as a reminder to us of how great leaders can uplift their communities and bring people together for the common good. I must also commend the Metrobank Foundation for the Outstanding Filipinos program, which celebrates its 40th anniversary this year. Through the years, this Professional Career Service Award has inspired generations of Filipinos to pursue excellence, hindi lang bilang isang layunin, kundi bilang panghabang buhay na pangako sa sambayanang Pilipino. Mr. President, sa harap ng dami-daming issue sa ating lipunan, mahalaga na ipagbunyi natin ang ang husay ng mga bagong bayani, mga guro, sundalo at pulis. Ang 10 Pilipino pong ito ay nagsisilbing game changers dahil sa mga panibagong programa at inobasyon sa kanilang trabaho. So let me say a few words for each of them, and may I request them to stand up as I mention their names. Unang-una po, ang ating Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Teachers. Pinararangalan po si Ginoong Noel Sadinas bilang Outstanding Filipino dahil sa kanyang pagsulong ng edukasyon para sa indigenous people sa Nueva Vizcaya at sa pangunguna sa SPED class para sa kanila. Dahil sa kanyang dedikasyon sa nakalipas na 12 taon, nakilala din po si Ginoong Sadinas ng iba't ibang international organizations na nagbibigay ng karagdagang karangalan sa ating bansa. Maraming salamat, Teacher Noel. Sunod po, pinararangalan po si Engineer Amando Molin bilang isang outstanding Filipino dahil sa kanyang kontribusyon sa peace building at sustainability sa komunidad po niya sa Laguna for over 23 years. Dahil sa kanyang trabaho bilang guro at mentor, nabawasan ang pambubuli sa paaralan at maraming mga estudyante ang natuto kung paano maging mas innovative at creative. Maraming salamat, Engineer Aman. Sunod po, pinararangalan si Dr. Maylene Uy bilang isang outstanding Filipino dahil sa kanyang pagpapalakas ng science-related graduate program sa Mindanao. Sa loob ng 32 taon, naging inspirasyon din po siya sa isang buong henerasyon ng mga Filipino scientists. Dahil sa kanyang walang sawang pagsasanay sa mga guro at pag-coach sa mga estudyante sa research, napakita po ni Dr. Maylene na sa kabila ng limitadong resources, maaaring makamit ang excellence sa larangan ng agham. Maraming salamat, Dr. Maylene. At panghuli po sa mga outstanding teacher, si Dr. Angelo Mark Walag. Pinararangalan po siya dahil sa kanyang pangunguna sa experiential learning program sa Cagayan de Oro na gumagamit ng mga research-based at innovative na learning materials para mas madaling maintindihan ng mga estudyante. Ang trabaho, mga initiatives at programa ni Dr. Jello sa nakalipas na 13 taon ay nagpapakita ng kanyang dedikasyon na bigyan ng real-world skills ang mga mag-aaral habang binibigyang lakas ang mga gurong Pilipino. Maraming salamat, Dr. Jello. Maraming salamat sa mga guro po natin at Happy National Teachers Month din po. Hangang-hanga po kami sa inyong dedication, innovation, creativity at community-orientedness. Sigurado kami na dahil sa mga guro tulad nyo, maliwanag ang kinabukasan ng ating mga kabataan. Ngayon po, nais po nating purihin ang ating Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Soldiers Una po, pinararangalan si Colonel Joey Fontiveros, ang inaugural Commander of the Armed Forces of the Philippines Cyber Command. Dahil siya ay bumuo ng critical systems tulad ng Cyber Assets and Risk Management Information System at Cyber EX. Dahil sa expertise ni Colonel Fontiveros, siya ang nagbibigay ng mga lecture at pagsasanay sa mga cybersecurity professionals na humuhubog sa cybersecurity ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat, Colonel Fontiveros. Next po, si Colonel Ricky Canatoy. Dahil sa kanyang dedikasyon sa pagpapahalaga sa kapayapaan at ang pagtutok sa pag-unlad ng mga komunidad sa Misamis Oriental, mga komunidad na may paaralan, kalsada, internet connectivity, at livelihood programs para sa mga mamamayan. Si Colonel Canatoy po isang inspirasyon sa mga kapwa military officers na naniniwala na ang tunay na tagumpay ay hindi lang sa military victory kung hindi sa sustainable peace at community development. Maraming salamat, Colonel Canatoy. Panghuli po sa ating outstanding soldier, si Underwater Operationsman First Class Anro Anthony Turalio, na pinararangalan dahil sa kanyang expertise sa explosive ordnance disposal at commitment to public safety. Si Underwater Operationsman First Class Turalio ay hindi lang nagprotekta sa ating mga kababayan. Ang kanyang kontribusyon ay naging foundation din ng safety protocols ng ating bansa. Siya po'y binibigyang parangal dahil sa kanyang invaluable contribution sa disposal ng unserviceable munitions, ERWs at UXOs. Maraming salamat, Underwater Operationsman First Class Turalio. Hangang-hanga po kami sa skill, leadership at unwavering commitment ng mga sundalo na pinararangalan ng Metrobank Foundation ngayong araw. Muli po, congratulations sa ating outstanding Filipino soldiers. Last but certainly not the least, nais po natin parangalan ang Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Police Officers. Una, pinararangalan po natin si Police Colonel Frederick Obar dahil sa mga reforma nagpapahalaga sa innovation at community engagement tulad ng virtual learning system na naging modelo sa kabuuang PNP. Dahil sa mga programa at inisyatiba ni Police Colonel Obar, nakapagsulong ng parehong tiwala ng komunidad at pambansang seguridad ang ating Philippine National Police. Maraming salamat, Police Colonel Obar. Next po, si Police Major Elmira Relox. Dahil po sa kanyang laban sa anti-human trafficking at proteksyon ng mga komunidad sa Tawi-Tawi. Dahil po sa kanya, mahigit 1,300 human trafficking victims ang na-rescue over 185 operations. Si Police Major Relox din po ang nag-pioneer ng tools tulad ng Human Trafficking Route Map at TIP Take-in Form na nagpapakita ng innovative approach sa crime prevention at community protection. Maraming salamat, Police Major Relox. Panghuli po, sa ating outstanding police officers, si Police Master Sergeant Ivan Velasco. Siya po'y binibigyang parangal dahil sa kanyang innovative community and law enforcement programs, kung saan po siya ay naging inspirasyon sa mga kapwa police officers na naniniwala sa power ng sports at youth development. Si Police Master Sergeant Velasco din ay simbolo ng continuous professional development at excellence dahil po sa mahigit na 100 awards at certification sa drone piloting, scuba diving at marksmanship. Maraming salamat, Police Master Sergeant Velasco. Hangang-hanga po kami sa multifaceted approach sa policing na nagsasama-sama ng community engagement, technical skills, and athletic excellence ng ating tatlong Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Police Officer Awardees. Tulad po ninyo, patuloy din po kaming nagsusumikap na suportahan ang youth development programs at community-based crime prevention initiatives. Mr. President, nais ko pong ulitin na mahalaga, sa totoo lang po, mas mahalaga pa ngayon na ipagbunyi po natin ang mga totoong public servant. Mga tao po na nagbibigay ng kanilang oras, talento at buhay para sa ating bayan na wala pong hinihinging kapalit. Kaya po ang Metrobank na ang nagbigay parangal sa kanila at tayo po ngayon sa Senado nagbibigay ng tamang parangal sa kanila. Kaya kami po, hanga po sa Metrobank Foundation Outstanding Filipinos. Sila po'y nagniningning ehemplo ng serbisyo at kung paano po tayo dapat magsilbi bilang kawani ng gobyerno. Dear colleagues, this is why I rise today to co-sponsor this resolution, to honor these Filipinos who have given decades of their lives to serve Filipino communities across the country with honor, dignity, integrity, and excellence. Muli po, congratulations sa ating awardees. Maraming salamat, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Mr. President, next to sponsor the measure is a distinguished colleague from Valenzuela and the Republic of the Philippines, Senator Win Gatchalian.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, I'm honored to stand before you today to sponsor a resolution celebrating 10 remarkable individuals, the Metrobank Foundation's Outstanding Filipinos for 2025. Napapanahon ang gantimpalang ito, Mr. President, sa kabila ng talamak na korupsyon, sa issue ng mga flood control projects at sa pagkawala ng tiwala ng taong bayan sa pamahalaan, hindi lang basta naging mahusay ang ating mga pinararangalan, sila'y huwaran ng sipag, integridad at profesionalismo, mga katangiang higit na kailangan sa panahong ito. They have gone beyond excellence. They inspire us, challenge us, and remind us most vividly that the doors to the virtues of integrity, patriotism, social responsibility, and courage are opened by challenging the ways things are. Alam po natin na napakalaki ng papel ng ating mga guro sa paghuhubog ng kinabukasan ng bansa. Dahil sa kanilang tiyaga at malasakit, nabubuksan ang kaisipan ng ating mga kabataan, nahasa ang kanilang kakayahan, talino at dunong para makamit nila ang kanilang mga pangarap at makatulong sila sa pag-angat ng antas ng pamumuhay sa kanilang mga komunidad. This year, we honor 4 distinct educators who exemplify the very best in the world's noblest profession. Noel Sandinas is a trailblazer in basic education. One of his many accomplishments is the pioneering of the first special education class tailored for learners who are from our indigenous peoples. His work has earned both local and international recognition. He is truly one of Nueva Vizcaya's brightest inspirations. Engineer Amado Perfecto de la Cruz Molin has devoted more than 2 decades of his life in inspiring our youth, teaching them to confront the most pressing social issues of our time and passing on the values of kindness and empathy. The 2 flagship programs he founded, Youth Universal Collaboration for Sustainability and Kindness for Peace, are models that our other communities and organizations can follow. Dr. Mylene M. Uy is one of the nation's brightest minds. She is renowned for her contributions in the field of natural products chemistry. She pioneers efforts to drug discovery and development with a particular emphasis on Philippine medicinal plants from Mindanao. Her legacy lives on not just in her body of work, but in the many students and teachers she has inspired to follow in her footsteps. Dr. Angelo Mark Walag is shaping the landscape of science education by seamlessly integrating technology with accessible, engaging instruction. His work on scientific literacy inspired him to develop training modules for elementary science teachers. Dr. Walag institutionalized a continuing professional learning course that equips alternative learning systems teachers with structures training across multiple strands. His work has become a blueprint for other divisions in the Department of Education and continues to make an impact on the lives of students and teachers for many years to come. Mr. President, ang sunod nating bibigyan ng parangal ay mga awardees natin mula sa militar at kapulisan. Our soldiers and police officers are our protectors, not only against the threats of crime or conflict, but also against the erosion of trust in law and the state. We honor 6 awardees, 2 from the Philippine Army, 1 from the Philippine Navy, and 3 from the Philippine National Police. Colonel Joey Fontiveros is a pioneer in the field of military cyber operations. He is the inaugural commander of the AFP's Cyber Command and serves at the forefront of safeguarding our country in the forefront of cyber security. Colonel Ricky Canatoy has done more than protect lives threatened by conflict. He has built bridges between communities. Colonel Canatoy's leadership has been pivotal to the stability of northern Mindanao and the return of indigenous people to Sitio Calhaan after 15 years of displacement. Underwater Operations Man First Class Anro Anthony Turalio has dedicated more than 30 years of his service to the Navy and is acknowledged by his expertise as one of the best in explosive ordnance disposal. His work saves lives and is a testament of his skill, integrity, and love for country. The tireless example of Police Colonel Frederick Obar underscores the two vital elements of law enforcement: a relentless pursuit of crime and unwavering commitment to work with different groups in our communities